All right, well, welcome back to the Happy Hour. Grant Liffman, Greg Papa, and we've been talking a lot about this Ezekiel Elliott trial recently.
We didn't listen to Rado and Chris Sims at all do that.
No, did they even say anything?
Yeah, I think
I
they're
don't
done.
really remember. So we have a lot of talk about this Ezekiel Elliott trial, so we thought we'd bring in the expert, our attorney of the show, Steve Moskowitz. Thank you.
Thanks
for coming.
very much. Always my pleasure.
All right, so there's the last couple weeks there's been, you're wrong, no, you didn't have any evidence about that. He said,
like most people, yeah.
Right, exactly. So the latest is the NFL demands a quick ruling now for this Elliott suspension. Is there any precedent for to make that go faster?
Most lawyers know when you go into a judge's courtroom and say, look, Your Honor, you're going to reverse yourself and you're going to do it by tomorrow. That's a real bad way to start out.
Okay, so I shouldn't.
Real bad. I would.
Next time I'm in court, I shouldn't make any demands like that.
Don't demand. You request.
Especially if you want to stay out of custody.
Okay, that makes sense. So what do you see? How do you see this playing out at this point? Because now we're going back to, we're doing appeals now.
Yes.
How is this going to play out? Because we saw what happened with Tom Brady over a 3-year period, or was it a 2-year period? But there was a long, full season where it was going back and forth, and eventually he got his suspension. How do you see this one playing out?
First of all, the appeals court is going to take their time. They don't really care about what the commissioner or anybody else wants. And next, what's important here, now again, of course, we all abhor domestic violence. However, we also equally abhor an innocent victim being punished for something that the police here, who are independent and they're very sensitive to these issues now, said that they found no credible evidence. And again, I wasn't there, but so many times you have an accuser saying to the accused, you did something to me, so you owe me a lot of money, and I'll start off with the criminal as a wedge. And the real problem here, and the court was upset, they made a decision because the accuser wasn't called. They just said, hey, you've been accused, therefore you're guilty. Here's your 6-game suspension. And as an attorney, something that's so upsetting to me is that the independent agency, the police, said that she kept changing her story. She wasn't credible. They found nothing there. Why in the world should you be punished for something that you didn't do?
Because this is an item that was collectively bargained by the union.
Now it's going to go into the court. Well,
I understand, but should the court system get involved in a situation where this has already been collectively bargained? When they signed the 10-year agreement years ago, they allowed this commissioner to have this personal conduct policy where he would have the latitude to do this. So should the court system get involved in an issue that has already been collectively bargained between the players and the league?
Absolutely, because this wasn't anticipated. For example, suppose the commissioner says, you know what, I've decided I'm going to hit you over the head 6 times with a baseball bat. Would you say that should go into court? You know, that wasn't intended. And here, whenever you have something this happens in contracts all the time. No. That's not what we meant, and that's one of the issues here. And again, you take a look at the trial court where they said they were real upset by how this was handled.
So the time frame, and Grant said that, you know, Tom Brady got the first 4 games of last year based on something he did the prior seasons. There was a whole lag. And in this situation, it's the same thing. Ezekiel Elliott did not do this past offseason. It was the summer before. We're talking 1.5 years. Now, I've heard a lot of NFL people think that this may be delayed until next year, that he may get 6 games, but it will not be until the first 6 games of next year, or possibly maybe the last 3 games of this year and the first 3 next year, and he could play in playoff games. What is the time frame here for him to serve any punishment?
The legal system is not known for its swiftness. And again, in the others, you know, there was text and all kinds of other things, and maybe you have physical evidence of the football, how much air was in it. But here, the only evidence is somebody's testimony that the police found incredible, and they said, no, they didn't believe her. Now, again, if it's a false accusation, and I'll bet you anything, there's going to be a civil suit where the accuser is going to say, you owe me a lot of money. How can you punish a guy if the independent agency, the police, say they don't believe her?
Right, so we're dealing with this here with the innocent until proven guilty, right? And
that's the way American system is supposed to be. How would you like it if someone says, you know, I saw you robbing a bank, take him away, put him in jail, and don't let him do the next 6 shows either?
To be honest, I didn't think anyone saw that. But, okay, now that
things happen.
I totally understand that. But do you think a lot of this is just based on how badly they botched the Ray Rice situation?
No, you have a totally different situation there. Here you have a guy, bam, slugging somebody in the elevator, dragging her out.
Caught on video.
Right. Caught on video, and you get 2 games. Yes. So what happens, like so many other things in law and in life, you err too much on one side, so you have an overreaction, and now you have too much punishment on this side. The punishment has to fit the crime. That's what American justice is all about. If you go out tonight and your parking meter expired, I hope they're not going to execute you. That's too much punishment for that.
Right.
It's always Grant.
Yeah,
I'm over here scot-free.
Hey,
I'm the
well,
bad guy.
too.
He's the good guy.
You know, it's been so
but you know,
long.
the NFL aired years ago, giving them 2 games, then having to bump it up to 6, and 6 has become the figure for domestic violence situations. So, based on everything you've read, how do you think this ends? Does Ray Rice serve 6 games at some point? Is it reduced to 4 or 2? How do you think this plays out?
Unless he does his settlement, I think he may have a good shot at 0.
Ezekiel Elliott will not have anything?
Well, again, you take a look at the evidence. If there's no evidence there, suppose it's proven that he was 1,000 miles away at the time of the alleged attack. How many games should he serve?
Well, of course, but that has not been brought up that that's the case.
Well, again, what the case is...
It's pure supposition on your part, Counselor.
Oh, really? Is it?
Go ahead.
But the bottom line is, if it's proven that he didn't do it, or even there's a reasonable doubt, why should he suffer for it?
Well, of course not.
Of
course not. But the NFL, I mean, they wouldn't just haphazardly give the guy a 6-game suspension.
Oh, no? Then why didn't they call the accuser? Why did they
Thompson?
do that?
I don't know.
Why? Well, that upset the judge. That upset. He said, hey, you're making your decision without the witness here. How can you do that? You don't do that. You got to have the accuser. That's why I'm a lawyer.
That's the business you're in. You're always defending people.
Absolutely. That's why I'm a defense attorney.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
He's going to get more than 0 games. And I think it maybe they could delay this. I don't know if it'll be 6. It'll be reduced to 4. But he will serve multiple games.
But what if it's proven that it didn't? What if he was 1,000 miles away? 0 games for that, right?
Yeah, but he's already gotten the 6 games, so the onus is on him to prove that none of it's true.
Where you'd give him 0.
Yeah.
If he was 1,000 miles away.
He's a Dallas Cowboy.
How about if he's 1,200 miles away?
6 games.
It's America's team.
There
No,
you
it's
go.
not.
We're talking about sports in America. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure,
I really appreciate it. I'm upset that you told everyone I didn't pay for my meter, because I hope no one knew that.
Do you need an attorney?
Yeah, exactly. You're the guy.
He'll get you off, though.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Moskowitz.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.